Obama's mistakes?
What were his successes would probably be the answer to that. So let's look at, he allowed the Chinese to build effectively the island chains and turn coral atolls into military bases and failed to challenge that. Now, it breaks the UNCLOS law of the sea, as the judgment in The Hague said. And the whole thing it sits right on, well, it doesn't break the judgment, it sits on the cusp. But he never confronted them when America could have confronted them. And the net result is the American Navy is excluded from the South China Seas. We could not operate with huge casualties. So he watched this process and did nothing about it. In terms of the intention of America, he presided over a withdrawal from the Middle East on the basis that oil shale made them independent, failed to realize there was a break-even of $40, and below $40, America was actually reliant still on Middle Eastern oil because of its break-evens. And he precipitously withdrew and allowed ISIS to operate from his policies. So it was a disaster. And then over the chemical red line in Syria, which is really critical, when he said this is a red line to Putin, he failed to operate and act on that red line when chemical weapons were used. He was then confronted by a letter in the New York Times by Putin, which just polarized him into action. And I think there's a very strong argument that the revolution in Ukraine that overturned a pro-Russian government was fomented on Obama's orders. And that created a Ukraine that turned against Russia in the strategic underbelly of Russia, and it underestimated Putin's intent, forced him into action, and in the process forced Putin away from the West, which is where he really would have liked to be for fear of China, into the arms of China. And all of a sudden, the West has a double problem. It now has Russia and China in an alliance. And Obama left that as his greatest legacy, which strategically was disastrous for the West.
So